Good morning, YouTube nerdizzles. Yes, it is the time of Harley Benton Guitar looking at them. What? Yes, we are looking at the Harley Benton Guitars. I've got a whole bunch of them back there somewhere, you can't see it. And we're finally taking a good hard look at them. There's been an unboxing video, an impression. You might have seen the track already, which you've just seen already. Huh? Wait, it's too early. Couple of things up front. Why is there a big ass thing of Warwick bass cabinets back there? Well, first of all, because they're awesome, and Warwick, gave me a whole bunch of bass cabinets to show to you. But also because it's Leslie's day off, and she's sleeping on the couch behind them, and she wanted her privacy. So I'm filming, and she's behind the cabs. That's what they're there for. So you can actually get yourself a whole bunch of bass cabs as a wall inside the room if you wanted that. I'm wearing my extremely dorky Thomann polo shirt, not because I work for them. Here's the deal. You're asking, after my first run of videos, I've had a whole bunch of questions. Did they prep the guitars specially so that I think they're great? I highly doubt it, because I've had, especially the SC-62, that Strat, I can't say Strat, that classic American single coilish kind of guitar. I'm not allowed to say Strat. I've been warned by some company. Yeah, that. Two of my students have. One actually ordered two. We looked at them. They sounded the same. They played the same. The pickguard on one was kind of getting loose, so he sent that one back. But I've had a lot of Harley Benton guitars in my hands from my students who bought some. And they most certainly were not set up especially for them to make a good impression. All the guitars, all the Harley Benton guitars are set up. They come from China to Thomann, and there's actually a guy sitting there unboxing them all and setting them up for you. So this is why the setup might be great, because they do check them, even at that price point, individually. They do check them individually at the warehouse at Thomann. So I highly doubt that these have been prepped for me. I can't imagine it. And the other question that I get is, are you being paid for this? No, I'm not being paid for this. I do work for Thomann for doing website demos and stuff like this, but for the demos I do on my channel, no, I do not get paid. They sent me the guitars, I send them back. I might get to keep one out of the whole bunch, which I really hope. But I get to show them to you. That's the benefit for me. And I get to tell you that below are links to buy this guitar. And if you use my link, I get some rewards points. I think it's like €2 or something that I get, or €1 or something like this. But after a while, it accumulates, and I can buy some nice stuff at Thomann, which I, of course, want. Which I then again show to you. So we're looking at the SC-550 Paradise Amber Flame. There's also the Tobacco Flame. This is a little bit more yellowish. The other one's more tobacco-ish. It's clearly an LP type guitar. I'm allowed to say this. They are not. And there has been a lot of discussions about this line, why they have changed the shape. Have they really changed the shape so much? Is it really so far away from the original LP type guitar that it's a problem for you? Oh, come the fuck on. This thing is €249 as of right now. Prices might change, but right now $250. And yes, is the horn slightly more pointy? Who gives a crap with a guitar that is so good at such a low price point? Let's look at some details here. Yes, the horn is slightly more pointy than on a normal LP type guitar. Maybe this is a little bit more elongated instead of rounded off. And you have the neck joint, which is definitely better. It's not angled, it's nicer to get into the higher registers. So that's a very nice neck joint. Comes with vintage style tuners, with, for me, the tuner heads are sticking out just a tiny bit too far. It kind of wrecks the picture a little bit. They kind of stick out a little bit further. But what matters on a guitar like this? 250 bucks, remember, 250 bucks, what matters? Usually guitars in this price range are not really even playable great. I mean, playability and setup, great. Feel, great. Sound, great. I can tell you this, you've seen the track, I can't fake this shit. Next question is it tunable? And yes, the tuners are actually very good. I have a 6,000 euro guitar where I turned the tuner, and the tuners are half the price of this guitar, and there's kind of a jump on the low E. You know, those tuners are not good, and they're shallow. I'm sorry, but they're not good. Okay. Is it tunable? Is the intonation there? And if it's not there, can you adjust it? And the intonation is there. We've tested this in the impressions video. Now, as far as looks goes, you'd be hard-pressed to find a guitar at any price point that looks so pretty. Obviously, it's veneer. It's not a photo finish. It is veneer, but it's probably like a millimeter thick. But I don't care. How many parts does the body have? It's not a one-piece body. It's probably not a two-piece body. It might be a 4 or 5-piece body. The neck is clearly, you can see this here. The headstock is glued on from the 1st to the 3rd fret. But frankly, these are all, yes, you can say, well, this doesn't make the guitar as great sounding because the neck isn't a one-piece thing. I'm actually thinking that the neck itself, yes, the neck itself is a 3-piece neck. They're trying to save mahogany wherever they can, because this is a mahogany guitar. And yes, these are all good points. But how does it sound? Despite all these flaws, how does it sound? How does it play? Is it tunable? Does it look good? It looks good, yes. It plays beautifully and sounds awesome. So I don't care that it's a 5-piece body, 3-piece neck, glued on headstock. Who gives a flying rat's ass when it sounds good? Okay, we got 2 humbuckers, Wilkinson. What does not work, and oh man, I'm gonna have to get these because I didn't prepare myself. I'll be right back. So, it gets delivered with these strap locks, which is supposed to put on your guitar strap. And then there's little, how does it work? I don't even know. Here we go. So you're supposed to push this down and then these pins inside retract. The problem is they come already retracted. And I've had comments on my channel after the unboxing video where people have said, yes, they've had these and then they have had these again and they ordered them again and they never worked. So my recommendation to Harley Benton is just don't include them and then they don't look crappy. Because the guitar for 250 bucks without the strap locks is an insane deal. So you're supposed to put these on here, you know, retract it, put it back on, put it on, and then it's solid. The problem is, it's really not. My recommendation for any guitar is always get the DiMarzio clip locks, insanely good strap, 25 bucks, it will hold forever. I have one that is 25 years old, you go clip, works. So these are the only downside really. The only other flaw I could find, the frets are not sticking out, the fretboard and the inlays look good, nut looks good, oh yes, here, and they have already, yes, if we really look at the details, let's look at the details. Right here, the angle of the B string is so that, I don't know if you can see this, this slit in the nut, the string slitty hole, is at the wrong angle for the string. It should be like this, and now it's sitting perfectly in that slit, but it's actually a little bit down. It doesn't come out, okay? It doesn't jump out at all, so it's not an issue. But I've already reported this, and they said, okay, we'll fix it, we'll tell China, bam, done. They're very, very open about criticism, so go right ahead. If you find anything, tell them. They're not going to be pissed off. They're going to work with you. So then the other little problem was right here. It's so little that you barely can see it. Can you see this? There's the tiniest black fleck underneath the paint that made it into the paint when it was being painted. Again, this is $250 and I don't give a flying rat's ass. So it's clearly a very beautiful looking guitar that can rival the most expensive guitars I have on my walls, and you know I have very expensive guitars on my walls. I'm just noticing that right here, this is loose again. This happens on any guitar at any price range. I don't know why no one has invented something better. Actually, there are locking things, there are better things, but guitar players are very, very conservative and they wouldn't accept anything other than the crappy system that we have. So, I'm going through the Clones amp. That's a full analog amp, but I can actually change the wiring inside to have different kind of characteristics with a tablet. In front of it, I have the Devil Drive from Solid Gold Effects, very, very cool overdrive. The Jeff Waters Devil Drive from Solid Gold Effects, which I got from Musical Supply. And right now I've got the Clones amp on a Blackface Deluxe, which I probably am not allowed to say, so a deluxe kind of cleany American amp. And in the effects loop, I have an Eventide H9, which we're gonna put on spring just for the hell of it. There we are. So let's go without the spring first, and that's our clean sound. Of course, I'm sorry, that's going into the basement in a hot rod cab, mic'd 112, mic'd with the Sennheiser E609, going into the Universal Audio 4710D preamp on solid state. Into Cubase, nothing on there. Put some spring reverb on there. I got tablets. I've got an iPad right here triggering the H9 from Eventide, and I've got an Android thing here doing the Clones amp. What kind of world do we live in? Cool world. Don't even have to get up. Let's go in the middle. I've been told that a really good LP type guitar will sound kind of telly-ish in the middle, which this does not. It doesn't have that eek, spanky kind of eek, like a telly would. Oh, can I say telly? Tell. I cannot say telly because the big is gonna fuck me. I don't know. It's already pushing the amp a little bit there. Can you tell? So let's give it some crank from the Devil Drive. very responsive. What I gotta say is, seriously, with all the 30 guitars that I have, including super high priced PRs and all this, this is the most classic sounding mahogany guitar in the room right now. So of all the guitars, if you're looking for the classic LP type sound, this is the one I would reach for. No shit. I'm waiting for 2 guitars from Isaac Baruman, which one of them we're trying to get the classic LP sound, 24.5-inch scale, blah, blah, and all this stuff. So I'm hoping this is going to be my LP. But right now, this is it, which is saying quite a bit. Devil Drive can crank. Let's do something funny. Let's switch channels here. And we're going to set up the second channel as a JCM type thing. A bit more high end. Let me get that. Now we're going to push it with the Devil Drive. Let's see what happens. Let me add something. I've seen some people, some guy that's actually did really cool reviews, but he pointed out that there's a little wire here. There's a little wire, I don't know what it's for, around the screws. We could talk about details on the hardware and all these things and bitch about things. I just had a question about if I buy this guy asked, and I put the slash pickups in. Seriously guys, $250. You want to really buy this guitar and then put pickups in it that's going to cost you, I don't know, $200 or something? That's pointless. If you want to have a great guitar, a super mega high-end guitar, buy yourself a high-end guitar, okay? Don't buy this and expect magic when you put in slash pickups. The way it is, with the pickups and everything that it has, it is an incredible guitar at an incredible value that I would gladly use in any production. There's no need to upgrade anything and then make it an expensive guitar by upgrading the nut and the tuners and this. If you want to, go right ahead, but I really don't think it's necessary, because come on. Let's add some tape echo goodness to that. place rather nicely. You want to do, let's do it. You want to do a super, super unfair comparison? Let's go ahead and do that. So the most super unfair comparison I can possibly come up with, this is an SC-245 from PRS. This is their most LP type guitar with traditional bridge, all this. I would assume that this baby is probably around 4,000. I don't actually know because this I have on loan from PRS. And before I had it, Marty Friedman from ex-Megadeth had it. It's beautiful. It's got a matching headstock, all this stuff. This is very clearly a boutique style guitar, which sounds very clear, but that's just, you know. So my guess is that you couldn't even buy the pickups on that PRS with what you pay for this. Obviously, if you're in the market for a PRS, in that price range, you're not going to buy a Harley Benton and the other way around. So this is absolutely not a fair comparison, but I think it holds up rather nicely. So I can't find anything wrong with this so far. Let's wrap it up. Okay, so here's my 2 cents. You guys know this model probably from Vintage, where they have a very similar guitar. The AFD, I think it's called, whatever, it's the slash model, whatever you want to call it. Of course, the question is it like this one? Let me share some behind the scenes wisdom with you guys. You might think that because this is 250 and another guitar that is similar to it might be more expensive, therefore better. The market works like this. If a company likes Vintage wants to get this built in China, because that's the only way they can have their prices, then they go to a Chinese factory and get the guitar made, which means they're paying the factory X amount of dollars to get the guitar. So the factory has made their money, a profit. Everything has been paid for plus a profit. Then Vintage, wherever they sit, I don't know, wants to make a profit. To get the guitars in the stores, they need to get the guitar to a distributor who wants to make a profit. That means Vintage wants to make a profit, the distributor wants to make a profit, and the store wants to make a profit. Best case scenario, Vintage is their own distributor and sends directly to the stores and has a network of stores they work with, which means we have not 2 people between factory and store, but 1. But there's definitely someone in the middle, 1 or 2 factions. What Harley Benton does is they go to China, get them made, put them in their store at Thomann, and cut out the middlemen. Now that can be a bad thing, because you don't want the quality control to be left in China, because they don't have the biggest experience in knowing, what we're used to. So, if you have oversight over the quality and design that comes out of that Chinese factory, we're kind of where a company like Vintage is again, that is controlling, that's simply saying build it to our specifications. That is what Harley Benton is doing. They're not just buying something that comes off the line in China and we're good. They actually have that oversight and that Harley Benton team that says we want that guitar. They pick the perfect factory for that model. So all these guitars come actually out of different factories that are good at doing what they do. And that is cutting down the price. So if you're looking at a guitar at maybe even twice the price of this one, you might actually not hold in your hands a better instrument. You're just paying more people in the middle. That's totally up to you if you want to do that. But yelling at me in comments saying you're lying, you're being bought by Thomann, you're selling, promoting cheap crap. Yes, you might get one that's not set up perfectly. It always happens. Send it back. This guitar, fucking awesome. I have a lot of students, excuse me. I have a lot of students, and I know inexpensive beginner guitars. I know them. You might say you know them, but trust me, I know them. I've been doing this for a while. I've been buying guitars in this price range and cheaper with students. And there's good guitars from Ibanez in lower price range. Nothing close to this. There's great guitars from Yamaha, the Pacifica line. But they always feel like beginner guitars in string action, in tone, in riddle, sound, in everything. The tuners, the whole package. Chord is actually making very good, inexpensive guitars that I've bought a few for my students. But they're still not on this level at a higher price. So whether my experience matters to you or not, that's up to you. The SC-550 Paradise Amber Flame or the Tobacco Flame, whatever, is for the price an amazing all mahogany guitar. For whatever reasons, it is. If you have one that is not, send it back, get a different one. That thing rocks, except for the stupid things that go on the strap locks. They should just leave them off and not even waste the 50 cents that it costs to put them on there, because they leave a bad aftertaste. And the tuner heads should be slightly shorter to make a nicer looking guitar. Other than that, get one. I'm gonna have to have a talk with my friends at Thomann. They can have all these back, except for the beat bass and this, and of course the little RG Junior is staying here for my student Tim.
Sunset